Anyway, this is Jeff Indyke again, and thought I would tell you guys about another suggestion. I think I want a lot of these little commentaries to be oriented towards drumming, since that's what I tend to do. And I also teach a lot also, too. You guys are right around Long Island, interested in studying, you can always call me. My number's everywhere. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the importance of learning to read. Now, I talk to a lot of guys, and there are some guys that are just unbelievably amazing drummers, but never learned how to read. I'll give you an example. Buddy Rich, from what I was told, didn't read. Now, I don't know if that's actually accurate or not, but that's what I was told. Didn't affect him at all. So, there are examples of guys that could just be amazing players. But the reason why I think it's really important to learn how to read drum set music and know a little bit about theory, a little bit about musical interpretation, dynamics, accents, things right along that sort of line, is if you ever are going to go into teaching, you have to be able to read to present the right material to the student. But more important, if you become like a pretty proficient reader, and any competent instructor can really help you in that direction. But if you become a really, really good reader, it enables you a couple of options that drummers that don't know how to read don't have. I'll give you an example. Modern Drummer magazine, Drum Magazine, there used to be a fantastic magazine, kind of dates me, called Drum Tracks. I had some articles in that, as a matter of fact. There was also, another magazine called Classic Drummer. I don't think that's in publication anymore. I had some articles in there, too. But in any event, I was really proud of that better. Now, if I didn't know how to read, I wouldn't know how to write. So let me go into one of the reasons why I think it's really important to get a reading education in drumming as well. I used to open up the Modern Drummer, and every now and then there'd be like a transcription article. I remember one of the first ones that I saw was an article on the Mozambique, which I had never seen before. I really loved it. It was a sort of an interpretation of what Steve Gadd did. I played on that around in a couple of my YouTube segments. As a matter of fact, I did a couple of explanatives on it. It's one of my favorite rhythms. I wrote 3 pages worth of transcriptions built off of that. But let me get back to the basic point. Now, if I didn't have a good education in reading, I'd never be able to approach it, because I wouldn't know how to read the notation. So if you become like a proficient reader, you can get, you can open up articles and learn ideas, and a lot quicker way to learn versus just doing it by ear. See, now a lot of drummers have mathematical genius memories, can hear something and play it, and it's not a problem. Most of the guys that I have taught in my fantastic career of teaching didn't have that talent. They needed to really be able to either be shown very slowly or be able to read it off of a transcription. So having a good education in reading enabled me to open up different publications and be able to play them. The other thing that's really important, if you ever go into studio work, I've done a few recording sessions, not as many as I would have liked to. Some of the recording sessions the arranger presented me with a chart. It was basically a schematic of what was going on. Most of the drum charts that I've seen usually had the main stops written, but they didn't really write exactly for drums. But I had to be able to follow that in order to get through the session effectively, or I wouldn't know what's going on. And when you go into a recording studio and you're being hired by a producer or by an artist or a production company, they do, it's not the kind of thing where you can rehearse it for a couple of hours and then take it. And they give you the chart, you look through the chart, you basically decide on kind of an interpretation of the chart, and then take one, maybe take two, maybe take three, and you're on your way, And if you don't know how to read, and they put a chart in front of you, you're going to be in trouble. So there's another advantage to that. The final advantage to learning how to read is if you know how to read really, really proficiently, you can study any book pretty effectively on any particular topic. For example, if you want to work on your technique, you can get stick control, but you have the ability to read those figures. There's another fantastic book called Let's Warm Up. It was written by Joel Rothman. Most of those figures were either 16ths or triplets, but if you don't know how to read, you kind of get in a little bit of trouble because you wouldn't know how to actually count the different patterns. But more significantly, if you guys are in, elementary or high school, you want to do NISMA, you have to be able to read to do that. NISMA is a fantastic competition. Basically involves the way you're playing different graded solos. It goes from grade 1 to grade 6. My buddy Rick Corwin sent me some grade 6 solos that I wanted to try to use to kind of do some improvisations upon. Now I haven't really practiced reading in a while, because I was out of commission for a while, but when I looked at those sheets and I started playing through them, I was able to get through them pretty effectively. I mean, I wouldn't, teach it yet because I would really want to master it, but I'm a pretty good sight reader for the most part. And it's an advantage there, because of the fact that I'm a good sight reader, I can take different measures and brainstorm on them. And you guys know that I'm not a sheet instructor, but having that ability is really, really cool. Finally, and the last advantage to learning, good reading skills, and this is the most important for me, is if a fellow drummer hears you play an idea and says, wow, what is that thing? I mean, that happens all the time. I'm hanging out with Sam Ash sometimes, and Cody or Ryan, those are the two guys, two drum managers there, and these guys are rather serious drummers. And they'll play something, and I'll go, what is that, Now, if you know how to read, you can notate it, you can write it. I've been writing drum set notation for many years. Though my notation isn't perfect, and I never learned to use a music writing pen. Like Chet DeBow, he used a music writing pen to write most of his books, and they look really, really good. My notations were done a little bit differently. I use magic marker, a pen, a ruler. My notations are pretty good. Today, everything can be done on computer. But in any event, having the ability to be able to write out a certain thing is really of an advantage. Particularly, if one of my students wants me to teach them a certain fill or a certain idea. I don't really write transcriptions, though. In other words, if the guy wants to learn a song, I'm not going to sit there and write a full 3 minutes on transcription. Most of those are available anyway, but I don't really believe in playing full transcriptions anyway. But for short ideas and different concepts, it really comes in handy to be able to write what you're playing. Or if you just want to write it for your own reference point. And I've written many sheets. Whew. All right, I still got a little time to go here, but so that's basically my thought for today. Learn how to read. And if you learn how to read, you'll know how to write. And also, too, it's really good to have an education. After I get off that treadmill, I want to call a medic. See you guys a little bit later. Hope you found this to be useful. And if you're studying with somebody, ask them to teach you good reading skills. It really comes in handy, especially for the future. Thanks. I hope you guys enjoyed what I said. See you guys soon, and keep an eye out for me.